Mazda is doing very well in the United States now. It's on track for record sales. Can you give us an idea of where you imagine sales being next year, and then again in maybe 2025? Record sales are in the target, right?
Right. This year, 2023, we are tracking to best ever retail sales record. So that is good. 2024, I don't have special figures, but MNL may set up the target of 400,000. That is my anticipation. So 2025, I don't give a specific number for US, but as a North America, we would like to achieve close to 600,000 units.
Right. And I think you said that maybe Canada and Mexico is also getting record sales, but maybe those combined make 150,000, meaning that the United States would have about maybe how much in 2025?
For Mexico and Canada altogether, I anticipate 150,000 plus. So if you calculate math, that is 450,000.
Right. And that's a pretty amazing figure for Mazda, and it's getting there almost without any electrification. What does that mean about consumer demand for vehicles in the United States in terms of electrification versus what Mazda has to offer?
Well, U.S. consumers prefer high power and long range that fit to their lifestyle. And we always provide solutions that fit to our customers. We introduced a plug-in hybrid with the CX-90. That is the first electrification product, which has received pretty well by our consumers. So from now on, battery EV will be taking off, but still, I want to watch customers' actual needs and wants and provide the best solution for customers.
In 2025, what kind of electrification will you actually have in the U.S. market? Well, we already have the CX-90 plug-in hybrid. Maybe by then we have the CX-70?
Yes, we do have CX-70. We plan to introduce that sometime, next calendar year. And together with CX-70, we plan to have CX-50 hybrid. So those are new products we plan to introduce next year.
And the CX-70 will be a plug-in hybrid like the CX-90.
Yep.
And the CX-50 will be a traditional hybrid based on the Toyota system. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. And in, let's say, 2025, how much electrification sales or percent do you think you'll have in the United States from that 450,000?
Well, that is a good question. I don't have pretty solid figures because a customer is looking for the best solution out of a new solution, which becomes available in the marketplace. But right now, CX-90 plug-in hybrid is kind of similar to 50% of take rate. That's probably twice as high as we anticipated.
Let's see.
Hybrid, we anticipate at 25%, but let's see how customer, respond to our technology.
So a hybrid meaning 20 to 25% total
out of CX-50.
Oh, the CX-50.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Great. Wow. Do you think that the consumer demand for electrification is slower, just generally speaking, for the overall industry, is slower than expected then in the United States?
Well, from battery EV point of view, certainly very slow compared to everybody anticipated or regulation indicated. But looking at the hybrid or others, as I said, consumers' demand is there.
See. So you are preparing to add this new dedicated BEV platform launched sometime between the 2025 to 2027 timeframe. Can you tell us about that? I think you mentioned that it's going to be this rollout will be in that timeframe, but a little bit slower rollout than expected just because demand is uncertain. Is that right?
That's generally correct. We'd like to set up the preparation right. We have studied a lot of time. Now many studies are put into one organization that we set up as a eMaster November. Now we are evaluating and finalizing our plans. So I hope timing will be in the phase 2 to hit the market for battery EV with a new platform. But deployment and the volume we develop is up to the actual demand.
Right. And at this point, it looks a little bit slower than you expected. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And see, and where do you plan to make that first EV, and what are the plans for eventual North American production?
Well, we'd like to start a battery EV production in Japan as our home market because I will make sure technology is right in your hands. So, and eventually extend our footprint in North America, which is we call the phase 3, which is the 28 to 2030.
Right. And by 2030, what is your target for overall electrification globally and maybe then in North America?
We set a 25% to 40% of the range that we anticipate battery EV at 2030. Right now, looking at, overall situation, I would say maybe a little bit low side of that range. And in North America or US is kind of similar, 25 to 30%.
Okay. Overall, do you think that the industry, not necessarily Mazda, but just the industry in general, over-invested or was too optimistic about BEV demand in recent years?
Well, I wouldn't say optimistic or over-invested. Nobody knows about the real demand because this is a significant transition because the last 100 years we have invested into internal combustion engine. This new technology seems to be a big wave, but consumers' reaction looks like a little prudent.
Okay. And then the final question would be, Mazda is investing a lot of money into these new platforms. It's a big investment and it can drain on resources. But one critical aspect of this transition is also the software and the electronics. But what is Mazda's strategy for adopting the software-defined vehicles?
Well, in the past, we invested in hardware. But now software is going to be critical, or electrical architecture is critical. And this requires significant resources and a lot of different type of engineers. So we decided to work with the other companies in collaboration with, so for example, Toyota is one important partner to develop those software and electric architecture. That is, we are jointly develop. It will give us a greater saving and a better, architecture, which is competitive in the worldwide market.
And when Toyota comes out with its ARENE operating system for vehicles, Mazda plans to adopt that then?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And you said what % of the total electrical and software systems will be common between the two brands, let's say in mid-century, like 2026 and onward?
Well, basically, that architectures, 90% are in common, which is a necessary, part. And each individual, brand, unique, will be maybe less than 10%.
Wow. And you said, I know you don't want to be specific with numbers, but you gave an impressive comparison to show how much money Mazda can save by that. How much money could you save enough to develop, I think?
This is a calculation on a desktop, right?
Okay.
So, but if you develop complete two new cars, that is a significance of savings you may earn out of this collaboration.
Okay, very good. And is there any final word to you? Is there anything you'd like to say, especially maybe to the dealers in the United States? Because sure. I know that they're going through a big transformation right now, and they're profit per vehicle is going up and their throughput is also increasing. So maybe you could tell us a little bit about the retail strategy.
Sure. During my tenure as a CEO of North American operation for Mazda North American operation, I put all out effort to revitalizing dealer network, and the significance of achieving the best ever retail sales record is with them because they are invested into Mazda business. They're really engaging to Mazda brand value management. I really appreciate their partner, indispensable partner with us. So I'm looking forward to working with them to further, grow our business and for them to sustain lucrative business with Mazda.
And you've achieved average throughput per deal, dealer of 1,000 units per year or
Per year.
per year. And you want to increase that to what's the target then? Do you think
Sure.
few?
Well, as long as I understand, last 6 months, the retail evolution dealers, which they invested in our next generation branded dealer, they are almost achieved, 1,000 units per annum. So the pace is there. And I encourage them to go over 1,000, achieving 1,200 units in their respective community and the market.
When do you think they can do that?
Well, as soon as possible.
Fair enough. All right. Well, thank you again. It's great to hear you speaking in English. Thank you so much for doing that. It's very impressive that you're able to command such great English skills. So thank you so much for spending time with us today, and best of luck with Mazda. I think a lot of exciting things are happening for the brand.
Oh, thank you for having me here.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Likewise.